Another lesson we can learn from the journey of Hijrah is that something very important about tawakkul. Tawakkul, which means delegating our matters to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and depending upon Allah in everything in our lives. Sometimes people misunderstand the concept of tawakkul, and subhanAllah, they think that tawakkul is somehow about taking action in terms of your physical being. And this is the wrong assumption about tawakkul. Tawakkul is an exercise of the heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to exhaust every possible means available to us and exert every ounce of effort and knock on every door and take advantage of every means at our disposal, and then delegate our matters to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So unfortunately, some people, for instance, to give you an example to clarify this point, some people, they have a certain kind of illness, and they say, well, you know, we have to be good Muslims, we have to practice tawakkul, and so we will not seek medical attention, we will not seek medical therapy, we will not see a doctor, you know, we have to be in a state of tawakkul, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of it. Obviously, this is the wrong understanding of tawakkul. Some people say, you know, they have a job interview, for instance, and subhanAllah, before they go on that interview, instead of preparing, instead of learning, you know, the information that they need to learn, instead of preparing themselves and really getting dressed nicely and everything that is requirement, a requirement, you know, for those interviews, or that is something that will facilitate the process, or something that would maximize your opportunity to get that job, people tend to get lazy sometimes, and they say, you know, this is my rizq, it is my provision. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants it for me, then it will be mine regardless. So I do not have to exert any effort. I have to be in a state of tawakkul. And obviously this is extremely wrong and extremely dangerous as well, this misunderstanding of tawakkul. And I want you to look at the experience of Hijrah. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ wanted to make sure that Hijrah stays as a secret, that the Meccans do not know about it, because if they did know about it, they might actually pose a threat to the Muslims and intercept them and capture some of them, and you know, all the terrible consequences that might come after that. So the Prophet ﷺ did everything in his capacity to be able to keep the news about Hijrah as secretive as possible. He could have made an announcement in downtown Mecca and told everyone that the Muslims are migrating tomorrow, and said to himself, you know, Allah is going to protect us. But the Prophet ﷺ did not do that. When asked by that man who came once to the masjid and he said, Ya Rasulullah, should I tie my camel and practice tawakkul, or not tie it and practice tawakkul? The Prophet ﷺ said, no, tie your camel, right? So take advantage of the means, and then practice tawakkul in your heart. When the Prophet was on the journey with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, you know, performing the Hijrah, they came close to an oasis, and they wanted to basically get some water. So the lady over there asked him, where are you from? And the Prophet ﷺ responded and said, Ana min ma'. He said, I am from Ma'. And there was an actual tribe that was called the tribe of Ma'. So the Prophet said, you know, I belong to Ma'. So is that really what he meant? No. The Prophet meant I was created from water, because Ma' means water. And this in Islamic jurisprudence is actually called a ta'rid, to say something truthful, but that gives a different impression to the listener. So the Prophet ﷺ was trying to evade the question without necessarily lying, so he mentioned something truthful to that woman, and basically that statement gave her a different impression. So the point here is that the Prophet ﷺ was trying to exhaust every possible means in order to ensure that this journey is secretive, that he and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq would be able to arrive in Medina safe and sound, so that he can, you know, start that new life and live that new dream that they have always been dreaming of for the previous 13 years. And this is a great lesson right there, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to exhaust the means. He wants us to utilize those means to the best of our abilities. He wants us to knock on every door. He wants us to exert every effort in order to meet our goals and to meet our objectives. And after that, in your heart, you need to believe that it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who brought you victory, not those means. It was not the means that brought you success, it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the end. And utilizing the means is about us making a statement before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are trying, and that we are deserving of your help, your victory, and your support.